Hello. A previous podcast looked at the important role that older people have in the workforce in terms of the economic prosperity of countries across Europe. This podcast focuses more on the link between work and health, and I'd like to acknowledge the work of Colette Fegan in putting together this lecture. So, health, work and well-being. Well, there are economic, social and moral arguments that work is the most effective way to improve the well-being of individuals, families and communities. In the literature, the general findings highlight that work is the most important means of obtaining adequate economic resources. In societies where it is the norm, it also meets important psychosocial needs, as it is central to individual identity, social roles and status. Employment and socioeconomic status are the main drivers of physical and mental health. However, it also acknowledges that some work is hazardous and can pose a risk to health. So work is seen as the best form of welfare as it provides a material for life and well-being. However, health and fitness do underpin capacity for work, and whilst it can be beneficial for health and fitness, work can also carry risks for physical and mental health. So there's some kind of contradictions and complexities within the literature in relation to this relationship. In terms of older workers, work and employment can have different financial, social and health consequences for older workers, particularly as they approach retirement. Early retirement can occur as a consequence of health problems, involuntary job losses or voluntary exit from the workforce. In terms of the research in relation to older workers, there are some methodological problems in separating the health impact of work, unemployment or retirement and that of ageing. There is evidence that physical and mental capacity do decline with age, thus workability might also decline, although the nature and the extent of the decline and the effect on work performance varies between individuals and very much depends on the type of work that someone is doing. So there's mixed evidence that older workers have any decline in perceived or reported health. And in fact, the statistics show that older workers do not necessarily have substantially more sickness absence, in spite of having more severe illnesses and injuries. Overall, though, there's a broad consensus that work should accommodate the needs and demands of ageing workers, and that physical ergonomics and work organisation issues will definitely contribute to safe participation in the workforce to older age. Early retirement also has health implications, as it can have positive or negative effects on physical and mental health. Workers in lower and middle socioeconomic groups, those who are compulsorily retired or those who face economic insecurity in retirement can experience detrimental effects on health and well-being and also survival rates. So that really has to kind of be held on to in terms of supporting and enabling older people who want to work to continue to do so. It's important to also challenge some of the views of employers because many older workers are capable of continuing to work and they want to do so. So there's a conceptual argument and a broad consensus that matching work circumstances to the changing capabilities and needs of older workers will help to maintain their health and safety at work. And really that's what I'd like you to think about in terms of your role. Continuing to work to at least state retirement age is not harmful to health or mortality in older workers, although those older workers with serious or chronic health conditions may choose to leave the workforce. So reflecting on this e-lecture, what do you believe are the main advantages of supporting older people in the workplace? On a societal level, in relation to mental health and well-being, in relation to physical health and to social inclusion? Use the discussion board and your portfolio to reflect on these questions and we'll bring them to the next session.